Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to Real Inspection Services. This is your host, Chuck Ryan, here to discuss all things regarding your home and the home inspection industry. Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Inspection Services. This is your host, Chuck, and today we're going to talk about the home inspection process, things you can prepare yourself for when you're going to look at a home. So what we're going to talk about today is an older home. We'll just say an older home, 20 years plus. There are a lot of things you can look for on the exterior of the home. First thing is to look at how the drainage is around the structure of the home. Are the downspouts extended far enough away from the home? Are there any low spots around the exterior of the home? Low spots can cause water to stand in that area there, and the only way for that water to go anywhere is it evaporates, or it can make its way into the structure, the dwelling of the home, which is usually a basement and or a crawl space. So it's important to look at the exterior side of the home, how the drainage is working, check for any low spots near the structure. When we get calls, people will ask us, hey, we have some seepage on heavy rains. And what we will do is ask them a couple of questions. And there's a couple that qualify real quick, that if their downspouts aren't draining far enough away, are there any low spots? Did they build up the grading near their house a little bit higher to put a garden, flower box? And grading, again, is the same as drainage. Grading is just the landscaping basically around your home, and again, you want it to drain away from the structure effectively. You don't want to have any low spots where water can pool or pond near your structure, because the only way it's going to go away anywhere, if the ground can't absorb it quick enough, it's going to sit there. It'll either evaporate, and then in some worst case scenarios, it can make its way inside the dwelling. So drainage around the structure is key. So the other thing you want to look at is the type of roof you have, meaning what's the material. Asphalt shingle roofs, if they have to be replaced, they can go anywhere from upwards to $20,000 to $30,000. Then you have your tile or your slate tile roofs. Those can be very expensive. Tile roofs have a life expectancy of about 100 years, but that doesn't mean some of the tiles may have to be replaced. And then the other expensive roof type would be a cedar roof. They're called cedar shakes or cedar shingles, and those are expensive as well. So you want to look at the quality of roof. How does it look from the ground? I know you're not going to put a ladder up there to get up to look at the roof, but any information you can get back from the current owner, that can help you with your decision. So we talked about the grading, we talked about the roof. Now let's talk about the exterior of the building. How does it look? Does it look like it's been well maintained? What type of structure is it? What type of siding is it? These are all important things because those are costs that can come up as well. So the other important thing to do is look at the type of siding you have around the home. Is it brick siding? Is it wood siding? Is it vinyl? Is it aluminum? Is it Hardy board? Hardy board is a brand name. That's typically what someone would say to you, but basically it's cement board paneling. That's pretty durable. There are some flaws that can happen with that. It's a lower maintenance siding. Your brick and wood siding is typically higher maintenance. So just look at the quality of the material when you're walking around the exterior of the home, as well as it gives you a chance to look at the windows too. Are they newer windows? Are they older windows? This, again, all this information that you're collecting is going to help you make that decision if this is going to be the right home for you. Is there a detached garage out and back? How many car garage is it? You might be a 2-car family. You might be a 1-car family. You might be a family that doesn't have a car. That's something to consider as well. So once you've looked around the outside of the home, you got a good feel, you feel comfortable. What I would suggest you do is you move to the interior. Now, most people, when they go inside, the first place they want to go to is the kitchen. What I would suggest, and this is just on my experience, is make your way upstairs. Make your way upstairs, look at the bedrooms, look at the bathrooms. Again, while you're in those areas, have the bathrooms been updated? Are they older? Average bathroom rehab can run around 10 to 12, and it can go up depending on the material and the size of the bathroom if it needs to be updated. The bedrooms, check the bedrooms. Look to see how many outlets are on the wall. Look at and check for the quality of the windows. Do they need to be painted? Are they in good shape? Are they older windows? Are they newer windows? Windows can be a cost as well, and that could be something that you might want to take into consideration too, especially if they're older windows. You may end up replacing them in the next few years, and that can be an expense. Once you've made your way to the top floor, look and see if there's any attic access. Now, I'm not telling you have to go up in the attic, but here's something you can ask the current owner. Ask them if they've updated any insulation in the attic, especially if it's an older home. Chances are the insulation isn't in the attic hasn't been updated, and that could be another cost. An effective, well-insulated, air-sealed, vented roof or attic, it does help, and it helps on comfort, and it helps on your costs as well. So now you make your way down to the first floor, and yeah, if you want to go into the kitchen, you can go into the kitchen. You can start looking at the kitchen appliances. You can ask if all the kitchen appliances work. That's important. Those items will be checked during the home inspection, but sometimes the owner will say, hey, the disposal isn't working, and we're going to get that fixed. So it's always okay to ask if the kitchen appliances all work. One of the bigger things that we typically find on home inspections, if it's an ice and water dispenser on the refrigerator, we do find that those typically don't work. So again, ask if all the kitchen appliances are functional. Sometimes you'll see on a first floor too as well that clothes washer and dryer may have been moved up there and they're not in the basement. So look at the condition and the age of those. If it's an attached garage to the home, check to see if the door opens and automatically closes. Again, these are things that we can check on the inspection, but some helpful tips for you to look at. Always check the windows. Is there a fireplace on any of the first floor level? So if there is a wood burning fireplace, there's a couple things you can look at that would give you an idea if it's been maintained. Look at the surround of the fireplace. Look at the mantle. Right above the surround, if you see any black soot or charring, that kind of gives you an idea that the flue most likely needs to be cleaned. It's okay to open up if there's glass doors there to just check inside there, see how well it's been maintained. If it looks like it's dirty, again, it's going to have to be serviced. And again, these are things that can be identified on the inspection. A clean fireplace is a safe fireplace. So just remember that. So you've looked through the first floor. You did the same thing. You checked out the windows. The windows seem to be in good condition, or are they older? Again, make a mental note. I would even advise taking a notepad with you and just writing down these items. All the information you can collect on a home while you're evaluating it will help you with your costs. You can then take these notes on the conditions that you're seeing inside the house to see if this is a right fit for you, because it may be costs that you may not want to deal with, and it can be something where you can just move on to the next home. I would suggest that you take a notepad, take down that information, and then just, again, write the pros and cons down for each home that you look at. Okay, so now you've made it through the first floor. You've collected your information. Now usually what we call the basement. The basement is the guts of your home, because typically that's where your mechanicals are. It's not to say your furnace won't be on a first or second floor, but typically on a home that's 20 to 30, your furnace, most of your mechanicals are going to be located in the basement. So again, the same thing applies. What's the condition of the mechanicals? What's the condition of the furnace? Has it been maintained? What's the age of the water heater? So any data you can get off that from the seller, again, will help you make that decision. A furnace replacement could start anywhere from $3,000. It can go higher. Water heater replacement could be anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500, and it can go higher. Now, I'm not saying that you might be able to find someone to do it cheaper, which you might be able to do so, but again, those are just kind of some typical budgets to just kind of keep in mind. And always remember, get a qualified contractor in there to give you that right cost, that right estimate. So the other thing you can look at is where is the electrical panel box? And one of the questions that you can ask the realtor is, how many amps is the service? Is it 100 amps? Is it 200 amps? Where is it located in the basement? Has it been updated? Those are costs too. If the electrical hasn't been updated, they can add up pretty quick. A lot of times what we'll see is a listing will say that the service is a 200 amp service, and then when we notify the buyer as we're doing the inspection that it's 100 amps, then there's confusion that can come into play. So it's always a good idea to make sure, qualify what the amperage is coming into your home. You may have an electrical vehicle. You might need that extra juice to power up your EV. So just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind when you're looking at the electrical. Those are costs, again, that can add up pretty quickly. How's the basement laid out? Is it finished? Is it unfinished? Those are things that you need to take into consideration as well. Sometimes we'll have people ask us when we're doing an inspection, hey, can we put a bathroom down here? Yeah, we can look at where the plumbing is and can give them an idea, but to install plumbing and a bathroom, you can be anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 quick, and it could even be more. What's the water service coming into your home? In Chicago, most older homes have lead service. Lead service coming into the home, people are concerned about lead in their water. The seller is not obligated to remove that. I think I talked about this on an earlier podcast. There is no accepted safe levels of lead in drinking water. So just keep that in mind. City of Chicago, on any updates right off the bat, if you're going to update, add bathrooms, or update the home, they are going to most likely make you replace the service coming into your home. And a replacement of a service from the street to your home could be around $20,000 real fast. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind if you decide to do any updating. Usually any updates, all permits have to be submitted to the municipality that you're in, especially in Chicago. They want to see any updates. Not to say that you don't have to pull permits, but safe bet is to pull permits, especially if you're doing extensive work. I'm just preparing you, that's all. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you some helpful information here. So, you've walked around the basement and you see a little opening in a wall. That might lead into a crawl space. What I would suggest you do is pop off that opening, take a look inside there, see what the crawl space looks like if it's attached. They may have put an addition onto the home. Again, it's something just to stick your head in there if you have access to that area. We have done inspections where we will inform that buyer, hey, by the way, there's a crawl space. And the answer we get back from them is, well, we never even knew there was a crawl space there. So these are just some unexpected things that can come up. I'm just preparing you for those things to just give you some better tools and to provide you with better information to help you assess if this is the right home for you. And I just want to back up and touch on some environmental issues within older homes and some of the things you may come across. One of the things is lead-based paint, and the other thing is asbestos. So back in 78, the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, they banned lead-based paint back in 78. In 1989, any asbestos products, the production of those products was banned in 1989 for asbestos. So if you have a home that predates those dates that I just mentioned, there is a good chance you're going to have some of those products inside your home. And there are costs that, again, come along with that. So some helpful information for you to see if this is something that you want as you're looking at an older home, because you have to take these things into consideration. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm just saying this to prepare you. So wow, that was a lot of information. And again, just remember, I'm providing this information for you so you can make that right choice. Next week, join us, and I have an exciting podcast that we're going to talk about new construction as well as condo and townhomes. And yes, get an inspection on new construction, and I'll share why you need to do that. So remember, when you're out there looking at a home, it's better to be proactive than reactive. Thank you again for tuning in to Real Inspection Services Podcast. If you have any questions regarding your home or our services, please reach out to us at realinspectionservices.com. If you would like us to answer any of your questions on the podcast, send us a DM on Instagram at Real Inspection Services. All info is down below in the show notes.